Yes, you can live full-time on a cruise ship and you'll never have to cook another meal or clean another room. Sound appealing? Let's crunch the numbers. Hello, my friends. Today I'm putting together a long-term cruising option with back-to-back sailings so that we won't have to spend any time in hotels in between itineraries. I'm going to walk you through the entire process of choosing a ship, the departure port, and the itineraries so that you'll know exactly how I've come to the grand total you'll see in just a few minutes. First off, you'll see that I'm booking these cruises as far in advance as possible. If you really want to do this right, you'll book your cruises literally the day that a cruise line releases their new itineraries, which tends to be around a year and a half before the actual cruise itself. When you do this, you're generally going to get much cheaper rates than if you wait until later. It's important to note too that I'm giving you prices for 2 people sharing a cabin. As you'll see, I'm avoiding cruises that are less than a week long because you tend to get better prices per person per day on the longer cruises. I'm also focusing exclusively on the Caribbean for this particular itinerary. I know that's different from a lot of my videos because in reality, my favorite cruises tend to be in places like Alaska or Europe. But we're looking for bargains this time, so we want to avoid the bucket list types of itineraries because cruise lines charge the most for those ones. And I'm choosing Miami as the departure port because there's plenty of cruise competition in Miami, and that often means that you can find some really good deals. And we're just doing back-to-back, so there won't be any hotel stays in between that will add to the cost. I'm getting rid of any of Royal Caribbean's newest ships because the newer ones are always in demand. And when they're in demand, the prices will be a lot higher. And now I'm settling on the Independence of the Seas, which, in my opinion, is a lovely ship to call home. And I'll go into more details about that in a minute. Since I'm going for the best price I can with this particular video, I'll choose an interior cabin. But when it comes to the point when Royal Caribbean offers to pick your cabin for you for a little less money, I'm actually going to opt for the slightly higher price and choose my own cabin for myself. There are numerous reasons for this. The biggest is that when you do back-to-back cruising like this, I highly recommend choosing the same cabin because then you won't have to keep packing up your things and moving to a different cabin every week. And of course, this is also the reason why you want to book as early as possible because it's the best way to ensure that you can stay in the same cabin. As you look at the prices, you might notice that they're a little higher or even significantly higher than what a lot of social media influencers are claiming online. I saw a short video the other day. It was probably just about 30 seconds long at the most, from some TikToker who claimed that he was going to live for a year on board a ship for just about $30,000. He didn't say how he was doing it. He didn't say what cruise line or when or any details at all. But of course, it went viral, and he got more likes and shares than I'll ever get, posting the real truth of the cost of living on board a cruise ship. And in reality, yeah, if he shared an interior cabin with the maximum number of people allowable, which can be up to 6 people, then yes, he might actually be able to live on board for that low price. But who in their right mind would want to live full-time in an interior cabin with 5 other people? And yes, you really can do this for cheaper than you might live on land. But that depends heavily on where you live on land. If you're living in a luxury high-rise in Midtown Manhattan or in a mansion in Beverly Hills, then yes, by all means, these prices are going to look dirt cheap to you. And by the time you factor in the cost of food, entertainment, and the upkeep you'd pay for a house, along with your mortgage or rent, cruising does start to look more appealing for a lot of us. But even the consummate full-time cruiser, who people in the industry refer to as Super Mario, who is in fact so famous for living on board a cruise ship that he has his own Wikipedia entry. Even he tells people regularly in interviews that he has a home base that he pays for full-time in Miami. He even said that he doesn't Airbnb it out while he's at sea. He simply likes to have a place to keep his things and go in case he needs it. And let's face it, you really might need a home base to go to because if you get sick, Royal Caribbean will not allow you to stay on board. And the medical facilities are great, but they're just for urgent care. You can't get all those regular checkups you'll need. And then there's the laundry, which is going to be excruciatingly expensive if you don't get it done on land from time to time. Yes, once you reach the higher echelon of their rewards tiers, you will get a free bag of laundry once every cruise, but that's going to take take a while before you get that added perk, and even when you do, it's a small bag of laundry, guys. We're talking undies and socks and maybe a few t-shirts. But I hate that this video is taking a negative tone. I'm so sorry about that. But when I saw that TikToker and heard his claims, I just wanted to set the record straight that it's not as easy or as inexpensive as some people on social media claim, just so that they'll get those likes and shares. But if you do prepare yourself, researching the real numbers like I'm doing here, and if you do, I really hope you'll support my channel by hitting that subscribe button, then you might find that even with the cost, cruising full-time for some portion of your life might be a truly epic adventure for you. Just please make sure you arm yourself with the facts. And facts will come from the cruise line itself, not from TikTok or YouTube, not even from my channel, because these prices are always fluctuating. And research all the additional expenses that you'll need to factor in, including medical and medical evacuation insurance that will cover you while you're away, laundry, alcohol, specialty dining that isn't considered complimentary, and hotels, Ubers, and food for when you aren't able to book your itineraries back to back like I'm doing in this video. As you've probably noticed, the Independence of the Seas is alternating between Eastern and Western Caribbean itineraries. And the amazing news is that both itineraries include a day at Royal Caribbean's Perfect Day at Coco Cay. That means that once a week, you'll be able to relax on their private island paradise. And the ship we're booking, even though it's an older Freedom class ship, it's got so much to do that you might even feel like you're on board one of the newest ships from time to time. The live entertainment is remarkable. And they even have the perfect storm water slide and the flow rider. So even on sea days, there will be tons for you to see and do. So keep all of that in mind as you see us hit our final numbers for 3 months on board the Independence of the Seas. Our total is $26,423.60. Now let's add in Royal Caribbean standard gratuities of $3,276, and it brings us to $29,699.60. Of course, that's just for 3 months. So to get an estimate, if you really wanted to live on board this ship for a year, you can multiply that by 4 and end up with $118,798.40. for 2 people for a full year. So yeah, that's a little higher than that TikToker might have told you. And yes, his number is probably going to get a whole lot more likes and shares than my reality numbers. Or maybe he really is planning on squeezing 6 people into his cabin to bring his costs down. And God bless him if he is. If there are any long-term cruising itineraries you'd like to see me crunch the numbers on, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and a very special thank you to those of you who have subscribed.